Okay, in addition to setting up your interface to be more efficient, one of the things I find that many people don't know about is having a title block that you use on a regular basis set up in a way that you just select a new button and it automatically brings up your template so that you can begin to save that and then begin drawing right away with that template. And the way I'm going to do that is show you how I have it set up that way. Okay, so in AutoCAD over here on the left-hand side of your screen is Tools. Now, if you don't have this set up here, Tools here, this, if you select on the down arrow here, mine says Hide Menu Bar, and that's what that is a menu bar. The reason mine says Hide is because mine is visible. If yours is not showing up here, all you would do is select on this down arrow and actually select um, view menu bar, and that way that will show up. And if you select on tools and you go down here to the bottom and options, it'll bring up this dialog box. And at the first tab, files, you'll look for your template settings. And I have mine set up here because I have multiple clients. I have set up a area where I can start with, I believe it's in this area here. Yes, I have mine set up in an area of my file settings so that I can bring up every template of every client. In most cases, if you're just working for one company, you would go down here to the default for quick new and you would select this. Now, you'll notice when you select on the plus sign, it says none. Now, I'm not going to change this, but if, because I don't have one specific client, I have multiple, and I'm not working for one company, but if you selected this none area and go to browse, you would just go to the area of your of your computer where your template for that company is set up. Now, that presupposes that you have a template for that company set up. So, but just assume, let's say you do have a template. I'm going to show you how to do that. If you have a template, you would just select on that, hit open, and then from that point on, that path would show up here. So if you were to select new from this area here, it would automatically bring up a template for that company because that's how it's set up. In my case, because I have multiple, this dialog box comes up and it shows all the templates of different clients that I have. So that's why it's set up that way. Now, I am presently in what could be a template for a client, and basically has all of, it has my title block for one, and it has it set up so that it's in a way that all of this will plot. Now this line that is on the perimeter here, that line represents the full area that will plot out with my specific plotter for a D size plotter or for the client's D size plotter. So that way you know that everything within the parameter of that line, it will print. So that's the first thing. You got this title block and it has a lot of different pieces of information and text on it. And it has its own purpose in the way it's used. Now, I have mine set up so that my finishes and my hardware show up on every single drawing, and they're in this one block that if I opened it up, I could change whatever information or add information in here. These just so happen to be the standard ones, and if I don't need it, I open it up and I get rid of it or I change it to whatever new hardware, and I can continue to expand this table. These are actual tables that I saved within this block. So you would edit them as you would any other table. It's kind of like an Excel table, but for AutoCAD. The text here is, these are called fields as I described in other videos. So you don't want to try to change these within any other way, but to go up to your properties dialog box, custom properties dialog box, change anything that's got a white background field in here. And that's, so if I wanted to change the name of the project name, I would say, okay, you say, okay, well, it's not showing up here, but if I do a regen, now that is updated. So I'm going to change that, go back. So that's how you would change it. You do not want to update it in any other way, whether double clicking on this text and changing it, because what's going to happen is these are all linked. So this job name and this job name, again, if I go into properties and I change that to this, I'm going to regen, and you notice this text and this text are the same. So that's how you want to update that information. It also allows you to have all that information and in one location and not all over the place, or as separate text, because they are linked from sheet to sheet. And so it just makes it much easier to update all the information in the drawing. There are this particular piece of information is an attribute. So by double clicking on it, you can bring it up over here, or you can hold down your control key and double click there. This is a block, and basically it has all the different information that shows up in that block. This text here basically describes how you operate or to activate the drawing properties dialog box. But if you follow one of my videos that we talked about, um, this customize quick access toolbar, if you put this up here, you won't need this. I left this here because I wanted to show people that you could go to the go to the drawing utilities, go to drawing properties, and activate that dialog box. However, you don't need that if you do what I told you to drag that drawing properties up here. Okay, all right, so basically that's your title block. Now, once you get to this one, is the same exact title block that's here in the cover sheet. The only thing is it's stripped out of it. And in addition to that, there is a viewport that is part of that frame. And so you would have it set up. Obviously, this has a drawing in it for the sample, but it would have a viewport inside here. And I have my templates. If I open up the Everett template here, let's see, where are let's go to templates, and let's go to Everett Drafting and Design. And I'm going to go to the first. You'll notice my viewport here is off to the side rather than being inside here. So I can double click and zoom to whatever I need to zoom to, and say 1 to 16 in this case here, because that's what size the title block set up for that particular starting drawing, and then lock it. And then you can size this by just selecting on the title block here. Again, this is the viewing area. That's this viewing area right here. So if I resize it after locking it, I can just drag that over here to the intersection, and now my full viewport is here. Now, if we go back to the project, this little test project here, sample project, you'll notice that my viewport is not the full opening, because I want to put these other viewports here, customized viewports, which are using this one here or this one here for full size. It's here so that I can not, if I double click here, it would sometimes activate this viewport if it's pulled to the full parameter. So that's why I have it pulled over here, so that it views just the items that are 1 to 16. And these 3 viewports are for the enlarged details of the wall cabinet, the base cabinet, and the sink cabinet here. So that's that. The other thing that I could talk about is these 2 viewports up here. Now, not anybody else use this as I created that on my own, because I felt like I needed to more quickly have a viewport at my fingertips for enlarged details. And there's one difference between, or really 2 differences between these 2. The main difference is I'm using section 1 differently here. This is for if I want to copy over to create a viewport to create a section like this. And then this one is here to match properties for enlarged full size details here. And the reason being is that, again, the color is different. In this case here, it's a standard color I have set up for that. So if I open up my layers property dialog box and I go to section 1, you'll notice it's set to white, white, continue is continuous, and then the two line weights are 35 millimeters. However, if I go into this viewport here and then activate you'll notice that the general setting is what we're in this viewport. The viewport's shown at 43. Everything else is the same, but then the line weight is 50. And the reason that I do that is I want this larger detail to be more bold, and that gives it more depth in the drawing. So that's why I have it set up that way. So what I would do is have this over, and I'm just going to use this as a demonstration. I would copy this over, double click in here, unlock it, and then zoom into that crown detail, set this to 1 to 1. Now these dimensions here I have in model space, so that's why they show up now that it's scaled to full size. And then I would just take this and match properties over here, and you notice that the color changes, therefore the line weight changes. Then I can resize the viewport, stretching it with my ortho one. See how it's not on. If I F8, I can turn that on, stretch it to whatever the proper width and height is, and then just pull it into the drawing after locking it. Make sure you lock your viewports so that things don't get changed later on. So I think that's about all I can really tell you about it. As long as you set up this template that you create, that's a video in and of itself where you have to actually create a template for your client. If the client already has one, then you just want to go into your tools, properties, files, go down to your template folder right here, select this one here with the plus sign, select where it says none, browse to the location that your template is in and select on it. Hit OK, apply, and exit out. And that way all of this is set up. So the next time you hit a plus sign, in this case, it'll come up to the last company that I worked for. I can select that and that comes up. So that's how you do that. Or if I hit no, again, this box comes up and I can select it. You notice it highlights that company. I could go to whatever one I wanted to. So when you hit the plus sign, if you have multiple different templates, that template that you used last will come up first. In this case, it is that company. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll come back in other videos and explain more.